I have a question for you. How many of you have, say, doodled when you were supposed to be taking notes in class? I know I have. It's what it gets me through the day. I like to just sit there and doodle a little bit. It actually helps me remember some things. Like, oh, that's what she talked about when I was doing that doodle. But, so, I'm going to describe my process that I go through when I'm drawing. Simple as that. And I hope I can teach you that you can learn something from it, whatever that may be. I have 4 steps that I use when I'm constructing my drawings, and that's what I'll be showing you today. Before we go into these 4 steps, I have to elaborate a little bit on what I like to draw. Me and my drawings, in other words. I draw in a style called line art, where I use lines and curves to create the image that I'm trying to create. Well, and what specific type of art I do? I like to do concept art, where I'm building characters that could be in a video game or movie. And I've been doing this since I started drawing. It's what I really like, and I started drawing back when I was a little kid, playing Zelda and watching Star Wars. Yeah, I'm a nerd. And when I first started, you just don't be discouraged by not being good when you start, because I was not good. I could not draw people at all. It was really horrible. But I worked at it, and I got to the level where I am now, and I'm pretty happy with it. So my step 1 is to build a reference page. You don't have to do this always, but it's a really good tip for new beginners and stuff like that. Even, it just allows you to get references that you can pull from. Let's say you're trying to draw a wolf for the first time. You've never drawn a wolf before. You're probably not going to be able to draw a wolf. You need to go look at some pictures, and that's where the internet can come into play. You can go and search through the internet and bring up pictures. You can find a ton of them really fast. Sort of what I've got here. I've just did a sci-fi, well, what I call a splash page. It's just a compilation of references that I can use while I'm drawing to get some ideas and to base some of my things off of. Now, this is completely optional. You don't have to do this, but just to let you know, professionals like Tim Van Ruden, which I watch a lot of his tutorials on a site called conceptcookie.com, where you can go to. You can learn stuff too. I mean, I'm still learning stuff. But yeah. After that, I want to ask you a little question. What does that look like? Might be a little hard to see, but you'll be able to see it during the thing. It's a stick figure. I didn't start with anything complicated. It's a stick figure. I usually draw 2 or 3, but I've got one here. I get it to get the human pose down, to make the character look human and not stiff as a board like I'm a robot. It helps. Tons. I can spend an hour doing these, trying to find the right thing. After that, I go in and I start drawing trial and error the anatomy, which I could talk for an hour on anatomy, but I'm not going to. There are really, really good tutorials at cgcookie.com about like anatomy. They break it down from bone to muscle to skin, and that's how I learned how to do something like this. It took me forever, especially legs. I hate legs still, but I used to not be able to do them, and I can do that now. And then my final step, that was step 3, by the way. My final step is where I just let my creativity run wild, and that's the part that's really fun. This setup stuff, it's really important, and I almost spend more time on setup than my actual drawing. But if I do a good setup, my drawing is really simple, and I don't have to go and correct a ton of stuff, which can be really annoying. I say I wanted to draw a sci-fi character. That probably took 20 minutes. Didn't take me that long. Still had to do some trouble with the legs. But if you have the right base down, you can do almost anything. Like, I'm going to change it up and do a mage. I drew a mage. Just out of my head. And you see how I follow the base, and I'm able to draw a human-looking character with all the clothes and accoutrements that I think the mage would have. And you can go in, I did a knight. It's that simple. Now, I hope you learned something from this. I don't know what you might have learned, but this is my process that I use when I draw. And remember, when I started, I was horrible. Yes, I was a kid, and you're adults. That gives you the higher mental capacity to learn faster. You should be able to start getting something that you can enjoy and be proud of pretty quickly. Don't be discouraged. You look at stuff like this, and I might get discouraged from one at a time. Like, I'm sitting here like, how do these people do that? But I'm just doing what I enjoy, and if you can find enjoyment in it, that's what'll make it a hobby. Yeah. The biggest part, one of the biggest pieces is finding your niche. I like to do concept art. You might like to draw wildlife in an abstract manner. It's just, I found my niche. Can you find yours?